Hello everyone, it's Catherine Maley, and today we're going to talk about patient online reviews. So I'd like to welcome you to the call. It's going to be quick because it's during the work hours and it's such an important topic though. It's important for you to take some time to think about this and talk about it in your practice. If you have any questions that come up while I'm talking, please feel free to type them into the question box to the right of your screen. I already got several questions during the registration process. So bring them on and I'm here to answer them for you because this is a pretty big topic. So today we're going to talk about how to change the way online reviews can work for you rather than against you, and how to get positive online reviews easily and strategically. So here's my big promise. In the next 40-ish minutes, I'm going to show you several easy strategies to get you more positive patient online reviews. And that's so you see prospective patients so they see you as the best choice. And so you rank better, and so your current patients refer you more. Now, just in case you're not familiar with my work, I do speak on cosmetic patient attraction topics at medical conferences all over the world. As a matter of fact, I just returned from Milan a couple weeks ago, and it is gorgeous there. And I write for the medical magazines, and I wrote a book called Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, because I wanted to learn what the patients wanted from you. So I highly recommend you read that, by the way. And I've been consulting and coaching cosmetic practices and training staff for over 15 years. So I've seen what the most successful practices are doing that's working, especially today. And today, patient reviews are definitely working. So let's first talk about why patient reviews are so important, because reviews have become everything. Without reviews, you could be wasting your marketing dollars. Marketing is creating awareness, but prospective patients will make a decision based on reviews they read. Now, if you have bad reviews or no reviews, patients might not choose you, even though your marketing piece is great. And by the way, Google gives more authority to certain reviews than others. Now, for our industry, Google decided for now, Google+, Real Self, and Yelp are the big players. Since that is subject to change, you should have reviews on all the websites with a focus on these top three. Because your prospective cosmetic patients have become detectives and they use the internet to research who you are before they agree to move forward. Because the world of social media has conditioned all of us to see what others are saying about you first before they're willing to go the next step. And here are some stats that should interest you. A survey done by Dimensional Research said 90% of those surveyed said positive online reviews influence buying decisions, and 86% said their buying decisions were influenced by negative reviews. And then Search Engine Journal said 72% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Now that's a big deal for our industry, since we're completely based on word of mouth referrals most of the time. So now we learn even internet fake friends can sway would-be cosmetic patients in a big way. So knowing this, you can only be certain if a prospective patient has heard about you through a friend or saw an ad. They will often Google your name to see a list of your reviews on the various sites. Now, this gives them a better idea of what others think about you so they can decide to move forward or not. And when the prospective patients are just wandering around on the internet looking for a surgeon, they'll be drawn to the 4- and 5-star reviews that show up, which leads to another reason you want to put effort into your online reputation. Now, reviews do help your SEO rankings. Your search engine optimization rankings. SEO means how are you ranked when somebody Googles or somebody searches for you, do you show up on the front page? Now, reviews alone are not going to get you to that first page. However, local buzz about you should be a valuable part of the ranking algorithm used by Google and others to deliver the most relevant results. For example, When I Googled eyelid lift, do you see how a real self-review showed up on the first page? That's a clue how important these reviews are. And here's another point. Prospective cosmetic patients go to Google for information, but once they're ready to act, they use ratings to make a decision on which practice they choose. That means you can grab prospective patients from your competitors by having positive reviews. So while your competitors are spending all their money to educate, these patients will go to the practice with the better and more reviews. And I will now answer the question, so how do you get great patient reviews? Okay, now this is where you might want to grab a pen and paper. First, Google you. When we finish here today, not now, when we finish, go to your internet browser and type in your doctor's name plus reviews and see what comes up. Check out current reviews and especially anything negative said about you. Now just know, you overcome the negativity with the strategies I'll lay out for you today, so you don't have to worry about negative reviews. You can make it up in numbers. For example, would you rather go to someone who has 3 5-star reviews or somebody who has 130 reviews averaging 4 stars? So if you have negative reviews, it's not a killer. You'll just have to work extra hard, with my help of course, to get many more positive reviews. So rather than be upset and angry, think of it differently. Be grateful for the feedback and use it to better your processes and correct anything that may be broken. Since patient reviews are your reality, use it as a great opportunity to better your best. And that means you, your staff, your processes, and how you interact with patients. Because building patient relationships has never been as important as they are in today's competitive world. And just a quick lesson in patient relations, patients know you care and are less likely to bad talk you when you do these simple things like smile, show concern for them, ask questions, and listen. Now, a great way to tell if you're doing a good job of creating a wow patient experience is to have them fill out a short survey before they leave your office. Now, this can sometimes diffuse the patient's unease when they're upset about something, but they don't want to confront you directly. And this survey can head them off from criticizing you online. And I'll tell you what happens. Some people are very timid and they're not willing to tell it to you to your face. But they are certainly ballsy enough to say it online. So this is the intermediary. If you let them express their feelings in a survey anonymously or without confronting you directly, that could be just what they needed. Now, another simple thing you can do is display in-house signage so everyone who visits you knows you would appreciate really good reviews. And you can remind them on your business card and all marketing materials so they know how important reviews are to you. You can also spotlight testimonials on your website and put a button near them that includes feedback instructions. I mean, today's world, you really do want to make a big deal out of your reviews. You want to tell them you're interested in their positive reviews. And in case you don't have any reviews or you have less than flattering reviews, you can implement this idea immediately. Even if things didn't go really smoothly throughout the process, you can always finish strong to help them forget. You have to be sincere and you have to surprise them with something that was unexpected that they get now, like flowers while they're recuperating. Now, 7 out of 10 patients will thank you and give you an informal review you can add to your website with their permission. For example, "Dear Dr. Smith, thank you for the lovely flowers. I certainly enjoyed them during my recovery from facelift surgery. You're a very talented surgeon, and I'm glad that I chose you to be my doctor. Your staff, especially Barb, Laura, and Renee, helped me so much during this process. You have all taken such good care of me, and I appreciate all you've done for me." Now, a plastic surgeon in Texas does a really great job of this, and he has 81 patient testimonials on his website just like this one. Now, another strategy is called the post-op pre-call. The person in your practice closest to the post-op cosmetic patient calls them to confirm their post-op appointment and explains how much the doctor would appreciate their kind words about their experience with you, either in writing or photos or on video or all the above. That way, they'll show up prepared rather than say, "Oh, no, I don't look good today, maybe next time." Better yet, have a post-op photo shoot party. Have a professional makeup artist, hairstylist, cameraman, and videographer shoot the after pictures and videos to show off the new you for a group of your post-op patients. Use local professionals so they see this as a business generating event for them, and after they see your great work, they'll become a nice referral source for you, so everyone wins. They actually could even become a client themselves or a patient themselves, and then they'll bring their friends and family and so on and so on. So now let's talk about the next big question, which is, what is a good review? Okay, well, one thing it's not is this. This is not good. You got 3 stars and it says, okay, very mediocre, not helping your cause at all. So a really good patient online review is a story. Remember when we were little, we always wanted to hear stories? Heck, we still want to hear stories now. They're called movies. So here's a really good patient story. This is the pain I was in. This is why I chose Dr. Smith. And this is why you're probably going to want to choose Dr. Smith. This is what Dr. Smith did for me, my experience. And this is how I feel about myself now. That's the good stuff. So here are the steps for getting this type of a review. First, let's start with patient selection. You really want to choose the patient wisely. This is actually the biggest part of it. They can't just be satisfied. They've got to be ecstatic. They need to love you, your staff, and their result. They need to want to brag about you. And timing is everything. The sooner after they're healed, the better time it is to ask. Since they're super excited about their new look, if you wait too long, they're already used to their new look and they can't even remember how excited they were because they get so accustomed to it. Now, in my experience, the patient is much more likely to give you a great review when the doctor asks. And all you're doing is expressing how thankful you would be to have them write a review for you, and then have them meet with staff to get easy to follow instructions. So if I were the doctor, I would get some kind of a script and get used to saying it, something like, "Sarah, I'm so glad you like your result. You know how important reviews have gotten on the internet in today's world. Would you do us a favor and just give us a review online? I'd really appreciate that." I mean, really, that's as easy as it can be. Now, if your doctor won't or can't ask, the staff closest to the patient is the next best bet. So when the patient is checking out or they're there at their post-op appointment, you casually, in conversational tone, say something like, "God, Sarah, you look great. Are you loving your result?" And then zip it and let them tell you. Now, if they are not loving their result, super important to address the problem quickly. Do not let them leave unhappy. That's where the unhappy reviews come from. However, if they are happy and they're gushing about their result, simply ask. For example, "Karen, Dr. Smith would really appreciate knowing what you just told me. Would you do me a favor and take a minute to write a Google review for us? This envelope includes the exact steps to follow to make it fast and easy." I'll explain the envelope in a minute and how easy it is to have these done for you. But this can be a challenge for some patients. Not everybody is tech savvy. Not everybody is clear how all of this social media works, how these patient review sites work. And I'll tell you, the review sites are not easy for a reason. They need to be authentic. Do you remember when this first happened and people were writing fake reviews? That's the kiss of death for Google and all these review sites, because if patients don't trust these review sites, they all go out of business. So it's imperative that these are authentic reviews for them. So they make it difficult on purpose. Okay? So what you want to do to help your patients help you, set up an account for them. And that means don't do it for them. Just show them how you set up a Gmail account, how you set up a Yelp account, a Real Self account. Walk them through it so it's easy for them to do. And then ask them if they've ever written reviews before. And if so, which review sites did they use? Because that's going to help you. For example, if they're a Yelper, and I know you guys hate Yelp, but let's just say they're a Yelper. Their review is much more likely to show up on Yelp than if they've never Yelped before. Okay? But then you've got to have them go home to their own computer to actually write and upload the review. Never from your computers. Okay? So the envelope is actually the patient review kit you go over with the patient, and it's going to include the following items. You're going to write a compelling letter that explains exactly what you're looking for. You do not want to leave this to chance. That's how you get one of those reviews that says, great job, you need a lot more than that. So here's a letter that works super well. Please share your story. I really appreciate having you as a patient, and I would like to thank you for trusting me with all your aesthetic needs. Your opinion matters to me, so I'm hoping that you will take a moment to share your personal story with those on the internet who are looking to find a place they can depend on for outstanding care, personalized service, and natural artistic results for aesthetic services, whether it be a surgical procedure, Botox, or fillers. To make it easier, I've included instructions as well as these starter ideas to save you some time. For example, I wanted to improve blank. I chose Dr. Weisberg because blank. Dr. Weisberg's staff was blank. How I felt about my result, or how I feel about my result, blank. So what you're doing is asking them to fill in the blanks. Please let me know what else we can do to help you look and feel great and enjoy a cup of coffee on me while you're sharing. Thank you so much. Sincerely, and then please have the doctor sign it. This needs to be heartfelt from the doctor to the patient. What's important about this is you're helping them write this letter. Otherwise, have you ever tried to write something from a blank piece of paper? It's exhausting, right? You're like, I don't know what to write. So this helps them get started. And you're actually subliminally planting things. Do you see in that second paragraph? You're giving them words to say. Things like outstanding care. I got personalized service. I got natural artistic results. Do you see how that's happening? Or write whatever letter you want. I just know this one has worked really well. Then you want to give them the step-by-step instructions. And these you're going to have to get on the internet, and you've got to piece this together. So figure that out, but make it super duper easy. Once you've done your instructions, give it to some, actually not a young kid because they'll know how to do it. Give it to some older, more mature patient or your sister, your mature sister, and see if she can do it. Okay. And then you include the gift card. Now, while you never, ever want to pay someone for reviews, you do want to acknowledge your patients for taking time out of their busy schedule to write about you. So include just a simple Starbucks gift card just to say thank you. Now, this also subliminally activates the law of reciprocity. And what that means is when you do something nice for somebody, they want to do something nice for you. So it works both ways. You're doing something nice for them by giving them a cup of coffee while they're doing something nice for you, which is giving you a good review. Or you could look at it the other way. They're giving you a good review, so you're doing something nice for them by giving them a cup of coffee. Okay? Very nice, very easy, very clean, very ethical. So here's the review kit with the letter, the instructions, the coffee card in a metallic envelope, and with your logo printed on it. Now, I can help you with this, so stay tuned. But there's another step. You want to check back in 2 days to see if your patient did exactly write you a review. Because if they did not, here's a simple script to follow when you call them. Okay? So here it is. Hello, Sarah. It's Catherine from Dr. Smith's office. I just wanted to check in with you. Since I haven't seen your review online, I wanted to know if you needed my help. So now you can help them. Or maybe they just needed this little bit of prodding to move it up on their to-do list. Keep in mind, an unhappy patient is more than motivated to bad talk you online. A happy patient is not. You know why? Because they're happy. They're not motivated. You already filled their needs. They need a little extra prodding here. Now, if they did leave you a review, I would call to thank them. They'll feel appreciated and acknowledged and even more excited to talk about you to their friends and family. Boy, there's nothing better than a patient feeling good when they think of your name. So using this approach, here's a case study of a plastic surgery practice. The surgeon, are you hearing that? The surgeon passed out the 12 patient review kits. He even went so far as to pass them out himself. I always have said, just have the surgeon ask and then have the surgeon send the staff in with the kits and then the staff go over it. But the surgeon was doing it himself. That's how important reviews were to him. Now look what he got. 3 Google reviews, 1 Real Self, and 4 Yelp. So out of the 12 patient review kits, he got back 8. And that's a 70% return, a success rate, and that's really good. And then here's another one. The surgeon, now in this case, he passed out 40 review kits, but in this case, I meant he asked the patient and then his staff took over from there. And look at their results. They were willing to do 40. They got 6 Google, 11 Real Self. He was a Real Self kind of guy. Then 5 Yelp, 3 Health Grades, 2 Vitals. He got 27 back out of the 40. And again, I think that was 67%. So if you do it this way, you're going to roughly get back 70%. I don't know any other success rate that big done in any other way. So here's the point. You don't want to leave this to chance. You've got to set up a system to make this happen. It is just too important in today's world. I'm telling you, the patients who are motivated are the ones who are negative. The positive patients are not half as motivated as the unhappy patients. So it has become absolutely vital for you to encourage the ones that are happy to brag about you online. That is just the reality of today's world. Now, we can make this easy for you because this is what we've come up with. We do this for our real clients that we partner with all the time, but because you don't know us or I want you to get used to us, I want to offer this to you because it's just such a great strategy. But most of you won't do it because it's a big pain in the neck. I mean, there's nothing easy about this. We go to a lot of trouble and a lot of work to make this happen. I had to write the copy. I had to test it. I had to figure out what letter worked the best to get the story that you wanted. We had to get my tech people to figure out how to make instructions that are easy to follow. We have to bug Starbucks and get all their, we run out of all of our local Starbucks. we buy all their gift cards for them. And then we have to do the metallic card, get your logo on it. Anyway, we've made this super easy for you. So this is what we're willing to do. We'll customize the letter to your liking. Personally, I think this letter works super duper well, but we would customize it to you. Maybe you want to talk about just surgical. Sometimes you want to talk more about injectables because you do more injectables than you do surgery. So we'll tweak it to your liking, but I know this letter is pretty good. We'll also customize the step-by-step instructions so you don't have to fiddle with it because you don't just make one instruction. So are you clear? You have to do them for every single review site. So together we'll figure out which review sites. We'll actually review your patient review status online and we'll critique what's working for you, what's missing. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of you ignore Yelp because you don't like it. Well, guess what? Your patients love Yelp. That's the reality. So you can either fight Yelp and not show up at all so your patients don't see you, and that'll be a question mark, or you work with Yelp, and that means getting good reviews from them. So we'll customize those. We'll get the gift cards. We'll actually include the gift cards for you in each of the kits. And then we'll customize the metallic envelopes for you. Yep, and then we'll send them all to you. So it's all completely done for you. So the question becomes, how much would you pay for a good patient review? Well, what are the reviews worth in this case study? Were they worth 500 each, 200 each? Even if they were only worth 100 each, that was $2,700. Just think about it. Even if you just got one more surgery because of these positive reviews, this already paid for itself. And as you know, reviews are everything. So let me make this easy for you. My team will prepare the patient online review kits, as I pointed out here, for you, done for you, when you choose one of these packages, because you're all in different places. So here's the starter package. It includes 20 patient review kits. This is if you have no reviews yet, or you only have a handful of reviews and you need more. You just don't have a really good grasp of this yet. So that's only $9.97. Then there's the Competition Crusher package. That's a cute name, huh? Now that includes 30 kits. You want to use this package if you want to be the preferred doctor over your competition, and it's only $14.97. And here's the Reputation Repair package. You want to use this if you have any negative reviews at all, since you need to cover them with positive reviews. And that's only $19.97. I mean, think about it. $19.97 is nothing to cover a negative review that's costing you a fortune. So you can go now to a special website we set up called yourpatientreviews.com to get started, because your patients are checking you out right now. While we're on this webinar even, a prospective patient could be Googling you. Now, what are they going to see? Is that the image you want them to see? Or could you be losing them right now as we speak? This is just too important to wait another day. And actually, right now in May, this is your busy time, and you could get tons of reviews right now in no time. This will help you get through the slower months that are going to come up, since the patients will choose you over your competitors. So there's the website, yourpatientreviews.com. Go there, pick a package, and let's get started. Now let's look at this case study one more time. This practice used this strategy, and they got 27 positive reviews because of that. Would that make a difference in your image? What could it do to your practice if you had 27 positive reviews more than you have today? Do you think this could bring in additional surgeries or additional patients for other procedures? Of course it will. There's no doubt about it. $19.97 is nothing, especially if you have negative reviews or no reviews. You could pay tens of thousands of dollars to make bad reviews go away, or you can use this faster and easier strategy to pile on 27 positive reviews to make those reviews go away, the bad ones. So now you just go to yourpatientreviews.com to get started, and I'll take questions. And by the way, I got several questions during the registration, and if you have a question, feel free to type it into the question box to the right, and I'll answer them, and I'll just stay on as long as we have questions. So, oh boy, I during the registration, there was a lot of talk about Yelp and how much you dislike Yelp, and trust me, I've heard it, and I hear you. I have to tell you, the other day, I was preparing for this talk and I was doing some research. And in my research, I'm reading some Yelp, and this patient said, I don't know what is matter with this doctor. He must be a drinker. And then she said, why? And just putting that out, she had no idea what she was saying. She just said whatever she felt like. That's pretty bad. That's tough, because you are in a very tough position, because this is your reputation. These patients get to say whatever they want, and so you have two choices here. I've had certain surgeons who have decided to sue everybody, and that is not the right approach. You are never going to win this game by trying to muffle people. They're going to do what they want to do, because that's the way of the reality of social media today. You either can fight it or you can work with it. And so number one, I would, get your processes in place. But then number two, I would do what you could. I just keep going back to it. Get your happy patients to talk about you much more than the one or two unhappy patients that are willing to bag talk you. That's really my answer. So let me see. Another question, the patient won't come back for their post-op. What am I supposed to do? Okay, this is another area where think about it. A happy patient is happy. they don't feel like coming back because they're happy. I have been a patient several times. When I'm happy, I'm just like, sure, I'm happy. It's all good. No, I'm okay. It's all good. Thank you so much. You need to encourage them to come back. You got to come up with something. Either you want them to come back because you care, the doctor really cares about how they're doing and he wants to see his result. You are having, I really like the Photoshop idea. You're having a Photoshop party and you'd love to have them involved and participate. Um, let's say you're not going to do the party. Let's say you just want to invite them back and say, oh, you know what? Dr. Smith's really excited to see you again. And by the way, he just wants to give you a complimentary facial for your time coming back because we would love to get some photos from you and also, hear your story if you're willing to do that in paper or on video. We would just love to see you again. How about next Tuesday? You really need to come up with some ideas and some compelling reasons for them to return to you. It's not a nice thing anymore. It's a pretty important thing. So actually, when you get off this call today, I would actually have a quick meeting and talk about some of the ways you can use these strategies I came up with to tighten up some of your processes to get them to happen. Let's see. We use this special iPad. We use this special iPad for referrals. Doesn't that suffice? Okay, I do know what you're talking about. There are several companies who offer to make this super duper easy for you. So they have an iPad and the patient is to do a review right there in the office. And then that company takes those reviews and they do something with them and then they put them out into the review world on the review sites. Let me just say this about that. It sounds like a great idea because it's so easy and it makes your life a lot easier and you don't have to fiddle with it. But here's one thing we learned. Do any of you remember when Google slapped everyone for having link building vendors build links for them in their website? Or when overnight they decided directories were no longer a valid way? Do you remember that? Do you know why they do that? Because in their minds, you are no longer authentic when a third party gets involved and a third party can skew the results. Do you know what I mean? So right now, those are working, I assume. Those iPad things or the patient review ratings, like the one, all these patient review ratings, they might be working right now. But anytime a third party gets between you and Google can change the rules overnight and then you're left holding the bag. So I would say use those, but use this strategy as well because it's the cleanest that you can use. It's the most authentic you can use. And even if Google were to slap down all of those things that you're using, all those other review things you're using, you still have this. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's see. What's another question? Okay, what happens if they don't do the review even after I call in 2 days? Well, at that point, you don't want to push them. The doctor has asked for them to give a review. You gave them instructions and then you called them to see how they're doing and if they need help. You need to stop. That's 3 strikes and then you need to stop. Otherwise, what I would do is continue to keep in touch with them and have them come in for post-op appointments and just not mention it again unless the next time you do talk to them or they come to your event or they respond to your emails or whatever, then just say the minute they say something nice, here's your new mantra. Anytime somebody says something nice about you and your practice and your staff and your doctor, the first words out of your mouth are, oh, that's so great. Hey, you know how important reviews are in today's world. Do you mind giving us a review? And then give them the instructions. Okay. Let's see. Okay, how would this work for a medical spa? If that would be fine. All we would do though is customize that letter. You don't want to talk about surgery then. You just want to talk about, lasers and minimally invasive procedures. Um, Regarding the letter to patients, do you print these with our logo? Well, what we do is there's not a lot of room because it's a cute, smaller letter, so we print the logo on the envelopes. And somebody else is saying, can't we just mail the envelopes? Everyone's always looking for a shortcut, aren't they? You could certainly mail. You could certainly mail these out. However, you're going to lose half the effect. I don't believe you're going to get a 70% response rate when you do. You can certainly test it, but I just know it works better when it's face to face. Let's see. My practice received a negative review. How do I get rid of it? Oh dear. Well, personally, I am skeptical of a practice that only has perfect or near perfect reviews. So your version of a negative review might be a 3 or a 4. I have to tell you, even if you get, I don't love 3s, but I'll tell you what I do love. I love a bunch of 4s, a couple 3s, and then several 5s. It's so much more realistic. That's what patients are looking for. Not every single patient is ecstatic with you. It doesn't look authentic to the patient or to Google. So you're almost better off having, like, let's say you got 50 reviews and then you have a 4.5 rating. That's way better than having 3 reviews that are perfect. You know what I mean? But so I'm not sure what you mean by a negative review. So you could, there are things you can do. They have vendors out there that have reputation management, or what it's called, reputation repair, but be careful. They'll charge you a fortune and they can't do a whole lot. And I'll tell you why. Without a whole bunch of litigation involved. The thing about Yelp has been sued so many times. And do you know the Supreme Courts always go with Yelp? Because it's so important. Our freedom of speech in our country is so important that will keep coming up. Although, slander is also important, but then it gets so legal. By the time you spend all that time and money and years and tens of thousands of dollars on law fees, you could have just worked with your patients to get you some good reviews. Seriously, it can be that. Although I realize it's such an emotional topic, you want to hurry up and make it go away. I'm just giving you another way to make that happen in an easier way with no litigation involved. It's just one way. It's not all the ways. It's just one way. That's from home, not in the office, right? Someone's just asking again. So is it vital that the client do this from home and not in the office? In the old days, it was imperative that they go home and do it because, our computers all have a special identification number called an ISP number on them. And that's how the police track down computers and all of that stuff. In today's world, it's not as important because you are using your Google sign in, your Yelp sign in, every one of these review sites has you create an account and sign in. I am just not sure if that's, Google still knows what's going on. So I would just, to be fair and to be safe, I would just stick to that rule where they all go home and do it on their own computers. It's just a safer way to do it in case Google starts playing hardball. Okay, that should do it. I hope that was helpful. Please, let me help you with this. Just pick a package and let's get started and get you on the right track. And I'd love to work with you. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.